Metallica var på en blixtvisit i Sverige förra veckan, det vet ni säkert. Och de passade ju på att spela på Münchenbryggeriet i Stockholm. Och förutom Metallica, vilka tror ni var på plats där? Jo, musikmagasinet Rock naturligtvis. Metallicas historia sträcker sig över drygt 17 år. Man skulle kunna säga att den började när den danske tennisspelaren Lars Ulrich, son till vårt grannlands gamla tennisstjärna Torben Ulrich, kom till Los Angeles med en dröm om proffskarriär.
Not Björn Borg, but John McEnroe.
Your father was a huge tennis player.
Yeah, he was. You know, a big, famous Danish tennis player, traveled all over the world. We spent a lot of time in America when I was growing up, traveling, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps. So we went to LA in 1980 for me to do that. And
then you met James and something completely different appeared.
Yeah, the whole thing just fell apart. I just didn't have enough discipline to do what I had to do to stay a tennis player or to become a tennis player. And so music took over, really. And you know, it just, what you have to do is you have to discipline yourself to the point where you can't really have a life. And I couldn't do that. Music was too big a part. I loved playing tennis, and it was what I knew growing up and so on, but music was too much part of my life to be dismissed.
Planen att bli ett tennisproffs gick minsann i krasch. 1981 träffade Lars Ulrich den långa blonde James Hetfield istället. De båda bildade Metallica tillsammans med basisten Ron McGovney och gitarristen Dave Mustaine. Ron McGovney fick dock kicken när Ulrich och Hetfield träffade basisten Cliff Burton som bodde i San Francisco. De imponerades av Burtons skicklighet och karisma och ville ha med honom i bandet. Men Burton, han vägrade att flytta till LA. Rykten säger att det berodde på att han hatade den glamrock som stan representerade. Burton, han var så långt ifrån randiga tights och pudelfrisyr som man kan komma. Jeansjacka och utsvängda jeans, det var hans melodi. Något som då var ganska otrendigt. Det slutade hur som helst med att bandet fick flytta till San Francisco. Så var det då Dave Mustaines tur att kickas, och den något bittre gitarristen bildade istället Megadeth.
I respect him. I think he respects us. He makes some okay music. I wish he would. The only thing I wish he would be a little more adventurous, because I think he's much more talented than he.
Shows.
Yeah, he shows. I think he's afraid to take as big chances as he could, and because he's incredibly talented, and I really respect him and love him, and I just wish he would do more.
När Metallica sen så rensat i leden åkte de till New York tillsammans med den nya gitarristen Kirk Hammett. Kort därpå spelade kvartetten in debutalbumet Kill 'Em All.
Little boys with zits.
Cute, I think you're so cute.
With zits on their faces. Cliff's disco medallion, we called it. Kirk had been in the band about 4 weeks when this picture was taken. And this is innocence and youth and sort of optimistic ignorance all rolled into one. And we listened to this the other day in rehearsal when we were trying to remember one of the songs, and to me it sounds like a bunch of little chipmunks playing music. but everybody else has a different opinion. But there you go. John Sisula, man, the man who discovered Metallica. At least he claims it. So there you go. This was
Look kind of angry on the
trying to look angry. Keyword. This is our second record. This is a good record. There's some good songs on here. A lot of songs we still...
Favorite song?
Probably For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black. This was the first record we made in Copenhagen in 1984. Spent 3 months in Copenhagen. A lot of good memories. A lot of fun. A lot of... learned a lot. This was the first record we made with this guy Flemming in Denmark. Flemming, man. Flemming. And and it's cool. Thanks.
Kommersiellt blev 1986 ett mycket bra år för Metallica. Master of Puppets släpptes och trots att inga videor eller singlar kom från den så sålde den i 1 miljon exemplar bara i USA.
This is another record that was made in Copenhagen. Look, I thought this picture was so cool because there's so many people looking at us. I go, if we put this picture on, everybody will think we're really big and famous.
But you are.
Yeah, this was us opening for the Scorpions in Oakland, Jersey. It isn't our crowd. But
It's a good album.
This James looks like one of the Spice Girls here. It's a fine record. I mean, it's very difficult for me to. I don't listen to these records much. I heard Master Puppets on the radio the other day in America, and it sounded like 1,000,000 years ago. I mean, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't respect it, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just it's not where my head is at now. So it's very difficult for me to relate who I am now to who I was then. But that's the key thing, is that all these records and everything we do is made in a moment. And when that moment is there, you don't question the moment. You just do it. And that's why even whatever I think of these records now, it's like I know in the moment when I was making them, they were pure and they were the way I wanted them to be. And you know, that's really all that matters, isn't it?
Metallica följde upp framgångarna med en turné. En turné som kom att resultera i en ofattbar tragedi för bandet. Vid 7-tiden morgonen lördagen den 27 september 1986 omkom Cliff Burton i en bussolycka. Cliff och de övriga medlemmarna i Metallica hade kvällen innan uppträtt i Solnahallen i Stockholm och var på väg mot Köpenhamn. Vid Dörrarp nära Ljungby förlorade chauffören kontrollen över bussen och en krasch var oundviklig. Polis anlände snabbt till platsen och häktade rent rutinmässigt föraren som senare släpptes. Efter en polisutredning kom man fram till att det var väglaget som jäckat föraren och inget annat. För anhöriga, medlemmarna i Metallica och fans världen över var dödsolyckan givetvis en katastrof.
Do you think about that often?
Mostly when people ask me about it. I gotta tell you that as a person generally, I'm not much, I don't live much in the past. I don't think much about the past. I don't have many regrets and so on. I find myself talking most about the past in interviews. That doesn't mean I don't respect it. That doesn't mean I don't miss Cliff. And that doesn't mean, of course, I wish with every ounce of power that I had that it never happened. But it's not something that I walk around and sort of, I mean, it's 11 years. Cliff was in the band for 3 years. Jason's been in the band 11. I think people still look at Jason as the new guy, and they always will. But it's a long time ago.
How did you meet Jason?
We basically set up auditions. Just started auditioning people.
I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or a dream. Deep down inside I feel the scream. This terrible silence stops me. Now that the war is...
1987 åkte Metallica tillbaka till Europa och gjorde de konserter man ställt in tidigare på grund av Cliffs död. Sen återvände man för rep och byggde om Lars Ulrichs garage till replokal. De spelade in en cover-EP och sen så kom And Justice for All som den här One är med på. En platta som herr Ulrich inte verkar gilla så himla mycket.
Here's the most interesting thing about this album, okay? See this picture? See this guy's eyes? See this guy's eyes? See this guy's eyes? See how white my eyes are? You know why they're so white? Because they were airbrushed white. Because actually my eyes were really red. That's, to me, is the most interesting thing about this record. So there you go.
You don't like it as music?
I don't dislike anything we've ever done. This record's really hard for me to listen to because the way it sounds. Production-wise, sound-wise, it just sounds really not, what's a good word? Pleasant. It sounds really unpleasant to listen to. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly some good songs on there, but this is the record we made when I think we were kind of the furthest out there, just kind of like these songs are the longest songs we've ever done, and it's just kind of a little crazy.
1991 kom Metallicas obetitlade svarta album som producerades av Bob Rock. En platta som överraskade och som bjöd på en hel del nutida klassiker. Även om många tidigare fans tyckte att gruppen smörade till sig rejält.
This one bought my house and my cars and my paint collection and it also got me out of my first divorce.
It was a hard album to make, I guess.
It was definitely the hardest record to make. Definitely the hardest record. It was 9 months of hell. We had never worked with anybody else as an outside producer. Bob had never worked with anybody who had opinions, I don't think. He had worked with all these other people, and we basically met each other in the studio and we went and that was basically it for 9 months. But obviously there's some great songs here, and I look at this as kind of the beginning of phase 2 of
which includes load and reload.
But getting more streamlined, shorter songs, trying to say the same thing quicker, things like that. And you know, some great songs on here. What can I say? He says humbly. It's there if you want it. It's easy to stay away from if you want. I mean, the choice is yours. I think the days of people following and doing these things blindly, I think most people are responsible and are sort of in control of what they're doing nowadays. And I think that people are, make their own choices, and it's just,
they have to take.
As far as I'm concerned, it's there as much as it's ever been, and like I said, the choice is yours. As far as drinking and drugging, and I mean, we have the same philosophy with it that we've always had. We do what we do. I think the best thing about what we do is none of us are addictive to any kind of thing. We have fun, and we have a good time, and we live life to the fullest, but we don't put ourselves in uncompromising situations, and never have. I think the only difference now is that we're a little more comfortable talking about it, where a few years ago we were kind of like, and so it is what it is, and I don't think anybody who knows us thinks that anybody has any kind of problems or anything, so it's fine.
Fortune, fame, mirror vein, gone insane. Fortune, fame, mirror vein, gone insane, but the memory remains.
It is part 2 of Load. The 2 records are connected. Load was supposed to be a double album, and it still is a double album that just came out a year and a half apart. I wanted to try and make 2 even records. I think I did. I think everybody else has different opinions, and some people like this and some people's heavier, whatever. I think we made 2 records that were fairly even, and that's the most important thing. And how people respond to them, that's your job. So I'll keep my mouth shut.
Some of the stuff on Reload is recorded in the early of October. Is that correct, or is it mixed?
No. Yeah. Everything was recorded in 1995. What happens is when you make a record, at least when we make a record, we record what we call the basic tracks, the drums, the basic guitars, the foundation of the song. And that was all done with all the other songs that were on Load in 1995. And then when we came off the tour in June of this year, we went back in the studio and did the overdubs, the vocals, the backing vocals, and the mixing. And we did that in the last couple of months.
Drift away, fade away, little tin goddess. Ash to ash, dust to dust, fade to black. Fortune, fame, mirror vein, gone insane. Fortune, fame, mirror vein, gone insane, but the memory remains.
Are you going on tour in '98? Australia and some stuff in March.
Play all the places we haven't played yet. Australia, Japan, the Pacific Rim, all those areas. April of next year. And then we were going to come and play some dates in Europe in June, but that guy sitting over there, whose name is James, is gonna have a little baby. So now there's a chance that we're probably not gonna come because it's right at the time. So we have to give him some time, of course, to be home. So we will probably come and play here at one point or another next year. But right now, the only thing that's really firm is playing in the Pacific. Yeah.
Are you alive?
Metallicas nya album Reload finns ute i butikerna nu.